Do you think the management is going to mess up everything good we have? Listen up, Commanders Nation. We're on the edge. An offensive pillar is seconds away from demanding out due to disrespect. And other fans already reject him. If they don't act today, we'll lose the soul of this offense. And that's not all. The GM bet Daniel's future on a rookie who might break at the first sack. Are you ready to see the Giants tear US apart in Week 1? But there's a detail the Raiders don't want you to know. And if this video gets over 10,000 likes, I'll reveal the master move that could save the season. Subscribe now? What's coming will change how you see this franchise. Or hurt you forever. How is it possible we're in this situation? I ask you, do you really believe we can afford to ignore what's happening? Look, I think people are talking, and it's no wonder. Word has spread through the league, and it's not exactly a good sign for us. I'm talking about that rumor circulating about a possible trade involving one of our offensive pillars. And honestly, the reaction from the fans of another team, the very Raiders, has me thinking, what's going on here? This is what really has me boiling. Commanders Nation. I cannot believe what's happening with Terry McLaurin. Disrespect? Such a lack of tact that leaves us all speechless. I tell you, this is unacceptable, and if management doesn't straighten this out, we're going to have a serious problem on our hands. The situation with Scary Terry and his contract is a real mess, and things are getting ugly. Really ugly. I think the possibility of a trade is more present than ever if an agreement isn't reached. And to top it off, that brazen post on Twitter from the team, supposedly celebrating newlyweds, has left McLaurin more frustrated than ever. More frustrated. Do you understand that? How can a franchise treat one of its stars this way? I say it's a terrible mistake, a self-goal that could cost us dearly. Not just on the field, but also in the team's morale. McLaurin has been clear, asking for a contract extension all offseason. And despite his requests, the Commanders haven't budged. It's a high-risk situation for our receiver. He's entering the final year of his contract, and the lack of financial security, I think, weighs heavily on him. Think about this. A player of his caliber, with his work ethic, leadership. Does he really deserve this uncertainty? His market value could skyrocket if he has another stellar season. And if we don't secure him now, we could lose him for nothing or have to pay much more later. And there's where a famous Twitter post comes in. Several Commanders players got married this offseason, McLaurin included. But in a post celebrating the newlyweds, they excluded Terry from the carousel. Coincidence? I don't think so. McLaurin never responded directly to the post, but he did like a tweet from a fan who called the act absolutely disrespectful. So I say, we can perfectly assume how he felt about it. Problems in paradise? Absolutely. It's crazy that just when things start to look good for the Commanders as a franchise, they can't avoid tripping over their own feet. I don't understand this mentality. Truly, I don't. It's a sign that internal communication and player image management are not up to par, according to my sources, and I tell you this with complete certainty. The Commanders have more than $21 million in free cap space. And with McLaurin already on the roster, they would only have to pay him about $7 million more a year. If it's true, he's seeking a deal similar to that of Garrett Wilson. So, what's the damn problem? Why are they playing games with one of their longest tenured players? I think it's probably because they're still making other additions and might need the money. Or perhaps they're being overly cautious with the future salary cap, which in this case is false economy. Look, Von Miller just signed with the team for $6 million, and the deal could reach $10.5 million with incentives. It's the kind of late addition to the roster that throws everyone off. Who knows what else the Commanders might be plotting? There are plenty of solid veterans still on the market. Not to mention that we already have the oldest roster in the league, so they're not afraid to sign more A's. But at what cost? At the cost of loyalty and respect for our players? However, if I were advising Washington, I'd tell them to put out this McLaurin fire as soon as possible. He's become a much better player than most of us imagine. His ability to catch tough passes, his leadership on the field, and his consistency make him irreplaceable. Plus, he has incredible chemistry with Jaden Daniels, a connection that doesn't build overnight. Pay him his money. It's as simple as that. There's no receiver on the market who can replicate what McLaurin brings to this team. Maybe the Commanders are viewing a trade for Deebo Samuel as a natural replacement for McLaurin in the future. But Deebo is aging, and injuries constantly hold him back from being elite. I tell you, it wouldn't be wise to assume Samuel could easily handle McLaurin's workload. Deebo is a great player, yes, but his physical playing style exposes him to more hits, and his injury history is a red flag. Replacing McLaurin with someone like that would be a step back, not a move forward. Let's see what Washington ends up doing. Public pressure is on them to at least address the situation. Only time will tell if they've learned from past mistakes. Do they want sustained success as a franchise? Then they're going to have to get uncomfortable sometimes and pay their players. And at the very least, act like McLaurin is still on their team, and don't disrespect him online. This is a direct message to management. Wake up! And speaking of risky bets, are we ready for this? Because I tell you, Adam Peters, our general manager, didn't pull any punches in the 2025 draft. With few picks available after so much movement in the market, the margin for error was minimal. But Peters, he's a guy who thinks big, a born strategist. And his latest play, his big gamble, is something that could define the future of our offensive line. And hence, Jaden Daniels. I think Peters saw something special, something many didn't see. Instead of trading back in the draft from pick number 29, which was a real option to accumulate more capital, he decided to go all in. He put all his chips in the center of the table and chose Oregon offensive tackle Josh Conerly Jr. Josh Conerly Jr., a rookie to protect our franchise quarterback? Now, I ask you, is this brilliance or madness? I say it's a huge risk, but if it works out, the reward could be gigantic. The truth is, in the Commanders' war room, they were obsessed with Conerly. I know they thought he wouldn't be available when their turn came. But patience, my friends? Peters' patience paid off. Conerly was still there, and there wasn't a second of doubt. They took him. And this despite having already spent considerable resources to bring Laremy Tunsil, the 5-time Pro Bowler, from the Houston Texans. Why, you ask? I tell you, the number one priority is and always will be protecting our phenom quarterback, Jaden Daniels. And Conerly, according to Peters, brings us much closer to that goal. It's a long-term investment in protecting our most valuable asset. Now, here comes the detail that raises an eyebrow. Conerly is changing positions this summer. Tunsil is our enforcer on the blind side, one of the best in the league. So, where does the rookie fit? The Commanders are moving him to the right tackle position. And in an ideal world, the expectation is for him to adapt so quickly and well that he starts in Week 1 against the New York Giants. Week 1? That's a lot of pressure for a rookie. I think they're asking too much, too soon. The transition from left tackle to right is not trivial, and the pace of the NFL game is relentless. But early signs in Washington's off-season program have been encouraging. His footwork and technique, they say, are just as advertised. Sure, there are some concerns about his strength in the running game, but overall, everything is going according to plan. I tell you, Peters has made a huge bet on Conerly. They're making him earn every inch, but it would be a massive disappointment if he weren't starting right away. After that, the challenge will be limiting the growing pains because rival teams will go after him. They'll see him as a potential weak point in the early stages of the season. Defensive coordinators will design specific plays to attack him, and the pressure will be immense. If Conerly meets these objectives, I tell you the Commanders will have an elite pair of tackles for Daniels to trust blindly. A solid tandem of tackles is the foundation of any successful offense, And with Tunsil and Conerly, Daniels will have the time he needs to read defenses and make big plays. And what's even more important, when Tunsil decides to hang up his boots or lead the team, we'll already have a ready replacement on the roster. That's the forward-thinking vision I believe Peters has, always thinking 2 steps ahead. And if his big bet on Conerly pays off, I tell you the Commanders will be in sensational shape long term. But are we willing to wait? Are we ready to see our rookie go through those growing pains? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. And the answer could define our season. Hold on, Commanders Nation. I ask you, do you really think we can afford to ignore what's happening? Look, I think people are talking, and it's no wonder. Word is spread through the league, and it's not exactly a good sign for us. I'm talking about that rumor circulating about a possible trade involving one of our offensive pillars, and honestly, the reaction from the fans of another team, the very Raiders, has me thinking, what's going on here? I tell you this, according to a poll conducted by a Silver and Black Pride writer, over 70% of Raiders fans do not want their team to bring in our star receiver, Terry McLaurin. 70%. Can you believe it? A guy with McLaurin's consistency, and people don't want him. This seems like madness, a true lack of vision. Now, I ask you, do they not see the talent we have at home? Or is the price we're asking so high that it scares even those with plenty of cap space and assets? The writer, Bill Williamson, made it clear the Raiders have the salary flexibility where they can acquire McLaurin and give him a new contract and still have room to extend the contract of their current number 1 receiver, Jacoby Myers, and keep him as McLaurin's number 2 receiver if they wish. So, what's the problem? I believe it's the cost. It said McLaurin could cost them, at minimum, their 2026 first-round pick in a trade. And sure, there's also concern that this could hinder the development of their own rookie receivers like Jack Beck and Donna Thornton, in whom the team has high hopes. But look, Commanders Nation, are we talking about a player who's been the heart of our offense for years? A guy who has carried the team on his shoulders in the toughest times, and outsiders see him as a burden? I can't believe it. It's true the price is high, and the salary impact would be considerable after a trade and a new contract. But isn't it worth having an elite player who gives more weapons to a young quarterback like Jaden Daniels? I tell you, yes, it's worth every penny. For me, this is a sign. A sign that, despite the rumors, Terry McLaurin's situation in Washington is unique. Negotiations with him are complicated, and while a trade is a possibility floating in the air, I believe the Commanders aren't as open to that idea as some want us to believe. I tell you, management knows what they have in McLaurin, and although things are tense right now, logic tells me cooler heads will prevail. But what does this mean for us, the fans? It means we're in the eye of the storm, waiting to see if management truly values its stars, or if they're willing to let them go for a handful of picks. This is a chess game, and every move counts. And that's all for today, Commanders Nation. I tell you, the passion for this team runs through my veins, and yours too. Now I ask you, do you think the Raiders are really wrong in not wanting our star receiver, or is the price simply too high for anyone? Leave me your thoughts in the comments, because I want to know what you think. And about Adam Peters' bold bet on Josh Conerly Jr., are you as convinced as I am that this rookie can be the key piece to protect Jaden Daniels from day one? Or do you think it's too big an expectation for a right tackle in their first year? I want to read your arguments. But most importantly, what keeps me on the edge? Are the Commanders making an unforgivable mistake with Terry McLaurin, and how? Do you think this will affect his future with the team and the team's morale? I say this situation is delicate, and your voice, your opinion, is crucial. If you feel this passion, if you live and breathe the burgundy and gold like I do, then you know we are more than just fans. We are family. Don't stay out of this conversation. Subscribe to the channel right now, give this video a like, and hit the bell to not miss any of our exclusive news and unfiltered analysis. Together, we're going to take the Commanders to the top. And remember, hail to the Redskins!